Welcome to the Revo Report. We're inspiring faith with reason and reasoning with faith. The government just released more JFK assassination files, promising to shed light on one of history's darkest moments. But what if I told you there's an even greater revelation that can illuminate not just historical mysteries, but the deepest secrets of your own heart? Make sure to subscribe if you love Jesus to help us spread and defend the good news in the gospel. Let's get right into it.
I think will be very supportive, and we've also been told that the CIA director is very supportive. To put it in perspective, I think that this issue transcends not just one administration, but multiple administrations, and it hasn't been until now that we've been able to get people actually in positions of power that will push for transparency. Now, if I find that different entities in the various intelligence agencies are stonewalling us, I'm going to make that known to the American people. But as of right now, we are cautiously optimistic.
What's your priority list? Because Epstein, 9/11.
Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
Thank you for doing this. Have you identified the Democrats who will sit on the task force, and could you talk a little bit more about the role of Democrats in this?
Yeah, so again, this is a bipartisan commission. Remember, JFK was a Democrat, RFK was a Democrat, and I'm sure that I think the entire conference has a question on what actually happened with Dr. Martin Luther King, but also UAPs. You guys know that that was the biggest bipartisan bicameral hearing that we've ever had, I think, in congressional history. I do not know who their members are yet. They've noticed it, but they're taking this very seriously. This is not a conspiracy theory investigating committee. We're actually looking to present truth to the American people. And it's in my opinion that no one person elected to office is more important or more qualified to look at the information that they've been hiding from us. And so we look to push for that transparency.
Wow, this is big because for a long time, these were just conspiracy theories, and we're finding out that they weren't. They were the truth. And the recent declassification of the JFK assassination files represents humanity's persistent quest for truth. This pursuit for transparency reminds us of how sunlight is truly the best disinfectant, exposing what lies hidden in darkness. And these revelations, however significant, pale in comparison to the ultimate revelation of humanity, pales in comparison to the ultimate revelation humanity has received. Truth is not determined by majority vote. What is true is already there, waiting to be discovered. And this really bridges our discussion to the deeper reality about truth itself. A lot of people are shocked about what's happening. A lot of people are wondering, well, what about the Epstein files? What really happened? I mean, people have been suspecting this for so long, and then they were told that they were just cuckoo, they were just conspiracy theorists, and now we're discovering, hey, there's two shooters out there. And so John 1:9 tells us the true light that gives light to everyone was coming into this world, and that darkness would not overcome it. This describes Jesus not just as a teacher of truth, but as truth incarnate entering our world to illuminate every corner of human existence. Now that Judeo-Christian ethic is coming back to the forefront of America, even in politics, we're seeing that that light is exposing a lot of the darkness, including the darkness of the past, including what happened to Martin Luther King, what happened to JFK, RFK. These things are getting answered. But there's something even more startling about this connection that most people don't really consider. While declassified documents might expose historical secrets, there's a more profound revelation at work in our world, and that is the light of Christ, because that light doesn't just expose external truths. It penetrates the human heart, revealing our deepest needs and transforming your very nature. The historical facts concerning the resurrection of Jesus provide the best explanation for the empty tomb. This is the greatest scandal in history. This is the greatest conspiracy in history, only that it's true. The resurrection appearances, the origin of the Christian faith, the early church movement. This systemic approach to truth mirrors the way divine light systematically exposes and transforms our reality. In Ephesians 5:13-14, we find this remarkable insight. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes light. Divine truth not only exposes, but it transforms, turning what was once hidden into a source of light itself. Now, America, having a lot of things hidden, could maybe one day be the source of light again to the world. Have you had an experience where truth has transformed your life, where transparency has freed you from the shackles of darkness? Let's finish this off, and I have one more thing to share with you.
What sort of witnesses will you expect to have at your hearings? I know you said the first one's in March. Would that be department heads, former employees of various agencies?
Would you like to jump in? Yeah, I was going to say, based on what we're actually looking to do with the JFK investigation, I'm looking to actually bring in some of the attending physicians at the initial assassination, and then also people that had been on the various commissions looking into, like the Warren Commission looking into the initial assassinations. There's been conflicting evidence, and I think that even the FBI at the time reported some anomalies in the initial autopsy at Bethesda, Maryland. All of those, though, seem to have been rinsed and repeated in the media to push a certain narrative that we don't agree with. And so I think that in order to put to bed some of the theories that have been out there on John F. Kennedy, we have to know the full truth. And the full truth starts with transparency. And that's why these files is so important for the American people to read for themselves.
Wow. And the truth will set you free. And just as these classified files bring historical evidence into the light, Jesus continues to bring eternal truth into your life. Philippians 2:15-16 reminds us, shine like stars in the universe as you hold firmly to the word of life. God is the word of life. He is the Logos. And when we embrace the light of the world, we don't just receive illumination, we become bearers of the same transformative truth. Remember, in a world hungry for answers, hungry for truth, Jesus doesn't just reveal truth, he is truth. He doesn't just shine light on our past, he illuminates our future. And he doesn't just expose our darkness, he transforms it into light. Recent X-ray fluorescence analysis on the Shroud of Turin has revealed something extraordinary that secular scientists can't explain. The cloth dating aligns precisely with the 1st century, but it's not just the timing that's remarkable. The image on the shroud exhibits properties that defy our current technological capabilities. To this day, we still can't even recreate the shroud. The shroud presents with us evidence that requires an explanation involving energy source beyond our current scientific understanding. The 3-dimensional information encoded in the image would require a burst of radiation so powerful it would dwarf our most advanced technological capabilities, let alone in the 1st century. In Acts 9:3, we find a parallel phenomena. As he neared Damascus, Paul, on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. The manifestation of divine light so intense, it physically transformed Saul into Paul. And I think what's happening right now is this light, this burst of light coming onto the scene, perhaps turning America from once darkness back to light. Philippians 2:15-16 tells us, shine like stars in the universe as you hold firmly to the word of life. When we embrace the light of the world, we don't just receive illumination, we become bearers of it. In a world searching for answers, searching for light, for truth, Jesus doesn't just reveal the truth, he is the truth. He doesn't just shine light on our paths, he illuminates our futures. And as the Shroud of Turin suggests, he doesn't just overcome darkness, he transforms it with the power beyond our comprehension. And so just as that burst of divine energy left an indelible mark on a simple cloth, Christ's light can leave an eternal imprint on your life as well. The evidence is clear. It's not a conspiracy. From declassified files to archaeological discoveries, truth always finds its way into the light. The Bible tells us that. But the greatest truth of all stands ready to transform your life. The truth that defeated sin, that defeated death itself. The truth of who Jesus is and his great love for you. So what is the greatest conspiracy in the world? That is. And although we look into these JFK files and RFK files and Martin Luther King files, we remember that all of those stood on a rock, on a cornerstone, and that was Jesus Christ. Welcome to the Revo Report. We're inspiring faith with reason and reason with faith.